it's really not about showing how brilliant our idea is or how well we've executed it so far. Good morning. I've been laser focused on this global project I've been leading for months, and today at 11 p.m. I am presenting our progress to the global director. But before that, I've got a full day ahead, so let's get into it.
Instead of a whole slide on a case study, we think it might make a stronger case if we just outline the 3 use cases that we actually piloted.
So here I am getting ready for my 8 a.m. call with a colleague in the States. We need to go through the final touches we made last minute for the presentation deck. Last night we scrambled a bit to pull together some more use cases to strengthen our talking points. But I'm kind of glad that we did it. And we realized midway that it's actually more impactful to highlight our observations through our pilot rather than the technical details. So while the prep was kind of hectic, it did teach me some great strategies for presenting to leadership, which I will share later. So let's talk a bit more about my work. I am currently working as a trust and safety risk analyst at TikTok, which I understand is not the most self-explaining job title. Just think of intelligence work, plus some strategy and operations, plus program management, with the ultimate goal of keeping our users safe from online harms. I mean, if it still sounds very hazy to you, just stay tuned for my future videos where I'll take you with me on this journey. Okay, now it's breakfast time. You might be wondering, what is this potion? What are you trying to make? Well, oatmeal with chia seed, but it doesn't look like it. I know it doesn't look like it. Anyway, my secret ingredient, I've actually never tried this combination, but I will, is longjing. No, I'm kidding. I just use it to put my cacao powder in. So I recycle all the tea cans and things, okay? I recycle. While doing my makeup, I tuned into a webinar from this year's AI for Good Summit, where Darun Acemoglu, the 2024 Nobel Prize winner in economics, talked about the possibility of having AI that's pro-worker. This is basically his vision that AI should enhance, not replace, the human workforce. Acemoglu highlighted 4 underlying forces that could impede this vision. The first one is excessive automation, where the promised productivity gains fall well below expectations. The second is the loss of diverse human input, which could reduce our ability to make smart decisions. This actually reminds me of some skeptical views about scaling AI models. Too much synthetic data could potentially make it harder to train LLMs effectively. And the third, human-AI misalignment. This is the usual concern about AI making biased or error-prone decisions without having the human common sense. And lastly, a monopolized control over information and surveillance as research and development of AI tools become increasingly privatized. But then in his lecture, Acemoglu dropped a Hannah Arendt quote.
If everybody lies to you, the consequence is not that you believe the lie, but rather that nobody believes anything any longer.
To Acemoglu, it is the medium-term challenge if the control over information is monopolized. To me, it's my daily reality in trust and safety. Time to head into the office. Thanks for the reminder, Professor.
leadership presentation. I've gone through the slides again and just went over my speaker note. I'd like to start by reflecting on some key insights I'm done. It was a bit longer than 30 minutes, but I think it went well. The leadership actually raised some very good questions, something that we really wanted to address through the pilot program, but didn't really get a chance to.
Now with my presentation finally over, let me share a bit more about what I learned throughout the process. So before the presentation, we actually changed quite a few things on our slide because we realized that it's really not about showing how brilliant our idea is or how well we've executed it so far. The first thing that you would rather address is how your project stands out from their pre-existing ones. I know it can be incredibly frustrating if you're working in a big company like I am, when you don't have the full visibility into what every other team is doing. But that's precisely why it's crucial to show that your project makes a real difference. You can ask yourself, does it address those unresolved problems no one has cracked yet? Does it solve a known issue but with greater efficiency? Maybe you are using more reliable, higher quality data and you've secured faster adoption. Once you get this out of the way, make sure you link it back to the top concern at the moment. Make sure you know what's actually at the top of leadership's agenda right now, and can your project help tackle it? It matters so much because it's probably the only way to keep your project relevant in an ever-changing environment. So if this is also the case for you, you need to ask yourself how you can pivot your project without a complete overhaul. Just focus on the impacts that align and resonate with the new objectives. And sometimes maybe the new objective can become part of what you've already built. So if you have the time, test it before you present it. See how your solution works in the updated context. And this also goes hand in hand with setting the clear boundaries. So in your presentation, make sure you define the main scope of your project. Be precise about what you can deliver. And throughout the presentation, you don't need a laundry list of action items. Instead, just focus on the takeaways. During our pilot program, we realized that this is working, this is not. Just be concise and interesting. And don't overpromise. When you present your next steps, stay grounded in reality and always link it back to your project's overall objective and the general direction of the organization.